Hello, for this lesson we are talking about proportions and percents, okay? So in this lesson we are going to work through ways to use proportions to solve and find missing values in percentage problems, okay? So an important rule to know is to set up this proportion, the way we set it up is going to be the part, so the number that's part of some other given number over a whole, right? That whole is the original number, okay? And that will be equal to whatever percentage that part is of the whole. And remember, if the whole is what you had to start with, okay, 100% of it, well, that's the value of the whole, right? When you're talking about percentages, okay? And remember, okay, and then that part, that's going to be equal to the percentage, right? Okay? So another way to read this I've seen, I had a student bring this to me a couple years ago, is writing as is over of equals that percentage over 100, okay? And the reason that this is helpful is because the is and the of, it can kind of clue us in to those values, okay? It can clue us in because those words are usually, not always, but usually in the problem, okay, and we can figure it out using those. So here we go. Number one, it says 35% of what number is 33.44. Okay, so we need to determine, right, are we looking for the part or the whole? Because I know right here, guess what, 35%. I know the percentage of that other number, right? I know the percentage of the part. Now, is 33.44, is that the part or is that the whole? Okay? Well, 33% of what number? So it's implying that there's some number that we're taking 35% of and we're getting 33.44, okay? So we're looking for some number that 35% of it is that number. So 35% is this, right? And you can look, like I said, there's this other way to look at it, okay? So if we look at the is and of kind of thing, of what number? So that implies we're putting it, that's the whole, okay? We're putting it in the denominator. And over here is 33.44, okay? So let's set it up. My part is 33.44. I don't know my whole, which means I need to put in a variable, okay? You can put in any variable you want unless they define it, okay? They might define the variable. If they define it, then you use the variable they use. The percentage of the part is 35, okay? And notice I'm just putting in the number, okay? And I'm putting it over 100. Now, interesting reason why we just put the number, okay? I didn't turn my percentage into a decimal, right? I didn't put 0.35, but I got rid of the percentage sign, and the reason I got rid of the percentage sign is because, guess what 35 over 100 is? It's 35%, okay? We turned our percentage into a fraction. So if you remember how to work with proportions, okay, and finding missing values, you should know you cross multiply, you use the butterfly method, okay, or that's one successful way, okay, and that's going to get us to, well, 33.44 times by 100, that will move the decimal 2 spots to the right, so it's going to get us 3,344, and it's going to equal 35x. From there, we need to solve this like a normal equation. It's a one-step equation, so I divide both sides by 35, okay? And what that's going to get me, it's going to get me x equals, and let's do the math, 3,344 divided by 35, okay? And it's going to get me 95 points, and I've got a long decimal here. I'm going to say I'm going to round it to the tenths place, but what should you do? Look at the instructions, okay? Look at the instructions and see what it says you should round to, okay? Whether that's the tenths, the hundredths, the thousandths, just check what it says, okay? Okay, over here, number 2, it says find 44% of 375. Now this is worded a little differently, right? We notice that there's no is, okay? But we need to determine, okay? We need to determine, do we have the part or the whole? Okay, again, we have the percentage here. The percentage is right here. Well, guess what? There's a hint here. Of 375. We do have the of. Okay, we're finding 44% of 375, right? We need to find what 44% of this number is, which means we don't know what 44% of it is. We need to find it, okay? So, let's set it up. Okay, we have the part. We don't know it, so I pick a variable. I pick x because I like it. Okay, I have 375 equals, and then my percentage is 44. I put it over 100, right? I just turned that 44%. It's a fraction now. Okay, I cross multiply. Okay. It gets me 100x equals 375 multiplied by 44. It's going to get us 16,500. Divide both sides by 100. X equals, well, dividing anything by 100, it's going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. It's going to be 165. X equals 165. Next, what percent is 54 of 60? Well, this time we're given the part and we're given the whole. The thing we're missing is the percentage. Okay? What percent is 56 of 60? So we know the part. The part is 54 because we're saying what percent is 54 of 60. So 60 is my whole and the 54 is my part. So here we go. Let's set it up. 54 over 60 equals, we don't know the percentage, and it's over 100. Still, same thing. We cross multiply, getting me to 5400 equals 60x. Okay, divide both sides by 60. And that's going to get us 90. So x will equal 90. And remember, we're looking for a percent, so what do I need? A percentage sign. Okay? 90% equals x. Okay? Alright. So, for number 4, okay? For number 4, 120% of what number is 42? Okay, so let's look. We have our percentage. We're looking for of what number is 42. So 120% of what number? Again, we don't know the original number, but we know that the partial is 42. So the part is 42. We don't know the whole, equals 120 over 100. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. Okay, that gets us to 4200 equals 120x. Okay, divide both sides by 120. Gets to x. And let's see what we've got. 42 divided by 1. Gets us to 35. Okay. Well, does anyone notice the fact that my whole number was smaller than my part? How can you have part of something but have more than you originally had? Well, remember, here, it's 120% of what number, right? So, the original was 100%. Now we have 120%. Okay, that means we have more than we originally started with. So, it's going to make sense anytime we have that 120 or anything that's above 100%, our part will be greater than our whole. I hope this lesson helped. Good luck.